Attention please. This uploading is only for educational purpose. No intention to infringe copyrights. Learning English with subtitles. GPITRAL. Follow us.
This is Monkey World, the largest ape and monkey rescue centre on the planet. With every animal comes a story. Some funny, some shocking. Dramas great and small. Today on Monkey Life, toddler chimpanzee Brian recovers from his 5,000-mile journey from Mexico. And there's a medical crisis for chimpanzee Jolene.
We're going in here as an emergency to see if there's anything that's feasible to do. I'm frightened there isn't.
Many of the primates rescued by Monkey World arrive with physical and psychological scars from their previous lives. It's the job of the primate care staff to rehabilitate them, and one of their priorities is settling the animals into family groups.
Little boy, say hello.
It's early morning and the newest arrival is ready for breakfast.
Hello. What you been doing?
3-year-old chimpanzee Brian arrived late last night after a 5,000-mile journey from Mexico.
I spent the night to start with next door to him, and he was really calm. A little bit jet lagged, waking up every couple of hours and investigating everything. But apart from that, he was, he had a good night.
Brian was stolen from the wild in West Africa. He was found living in Mexico and confiscated by the authorities. He's still a toddler, so it's hoped that he hadn't suffered too much physical or psychological damage. Sadly, he had most of his teeth pulled out by his owner. But this hasn't affected his happy nature.
He's a really nice lad. He's full of character. I mean, you can see he's all over the place. He's not sat in one corner worrying at all. He's just really enjoying himself.
Brian seems to love fruit, but he is a bit lazy and only eats it if it's peeled for him.
You want a grape?
This habit will have to change because once he joins the chimp nursery, breakfast will be self-service.
You're going to have to learn to do this yourself. You have another 59 chimps to look after as well, you know.
With breakfast over, there's one last job for headkeeper Lee. But Brian thinks it's his first game of the day.
Because of the climate he comes from, it's going to be far more humid than it is in this country. So what we do tend to find is that the skin will dry out slightly. So what we'll do is we use vegetable oil to put on the hands and feet, on the coat if we can. At this age, if you make it all nice, when he's an adult, it's not going to be a problem when we need to oil his hands or feet. I mean, his hair is absolutely lovely, his skin is absolutely lovely. You know, there's a couple of dry patches on his shoulders, but that's going to happen. But apart from that, and only having 3 teeth, he's really, really in good condition.
And for Brian, the oil is also the perfect drink to wash down his breakfast. In the next few days, he'll have a full health check, and then he'll meet his new family, including resident tearaway 7-year-old Seamus.
He's going to be an excellent playmate for Seamus. Probably one of the things Seamus misses is that someone who's full of life and wants to get involved. Brian's perfect. You know, he should fit in so well. Yeah, within a week of playing with Seamus, you're going to be horrible. You're going to be horrible. Oh.
There are 15 different species of primate at Monkey World. They all originate from a variety of habitats, from the forests of Africa to the jungles of South America and Asia. But one thing they all have in common is that they have larger brains than most other animals, which means they need lots to keep them occupied. Their wild cousins forage for food for most of the day, often travelling long distances between feeding sites. So here at the park, the primate care staff always try to find new and interesting ways to encourage the animals to work harder for their food. Today, Paddy's chimpanzee group are getting a puzzle feeder. Wedged in the holes are carrots, apples and peanut butter, perfect for keeping the troop busy. A chimpanzee's primary sense is sight, and it doesn't take long for 17-year-old Chatter to spot the feeders. The others are not far behind. Alpha male Paddy isn't very bright, and it looks like the feeder is a bit too challenging for him, so he's happy to let the females investigate. When food is concerned, it's every chimp for themselves, and a chimp's life would not be the same without some sort of squabble. 26-year-old Grisby soon works out her game plan. She tries to hog as much of the pole as possible. And, as usual, right in the thick of things is the youngest of the bunch. Eddie is 5 years old. She was born at the park and she's the only chimp to be successfully raised by her group from birth. She's desperate to get her hands on the treats, but Grisby's still determined to hog the pole. And now that Eddie is 5, she'll just have to wait her turn like the others. Eddie, the ambitious, is not going to give up that easily. But she is testing Grisby's patience. Eddie is beginning to realize that she's quickly losing her baby status privileges. Cheeky Gamba is also getting frustrated with Grisby's control over the feeder. He comes up with a plan to dislodge Grisby, but she's not going anywhere. Even second-in-command Jimmy has to wait patiently for his turn. But when alpha male Paddy decides it's his turn, Grisby reluctantly gives up. Male chimpanzees are larger and heavier than females, weighing 45 to 50 kilograms. But for once, Paddy's size doesn't give him an advantage, and he gives up before it gets embarrassing. In the park's woolly monkey house, life has completely changed for one of its new residents, baby Julio.
He's a fully functioning member of this woolly monkey group now, you know, and is still quite happy when I come and see him. Obviously, he's still quite clingy and wants to sort of have protection and attention and all of that. And so I think we've done really well. I think we've got a healthy, well-adjusted little woolly monkey that's part of a functioning group.
Allison spent 7 months hand-rearing Julio because his mother rejected him. But a few weeks ago, he spent his last night in the company of humans.
Very next morning, I brought him down here. We put him in, and he's never come home again. Julio's still getting 3 milk feeds a day, and he generally takes about 50 mils at a time. So when I come down and visit him, which is just about once a week now, it's not that often, just enough to know that I'm still here and I still care about him and love him dearly, and you know, he actually sort of bounces away after our visits, quite happy to join back with the other woolly monkeys, but clearly quite happy to have seen me and spent a bit of time with me as well. So we sort of have achieved the perfect balance. I mean, I'm quite surprised whether it's that Julio's just a progressive, lovely little monkey, or whether it's that we just got the timings just right on all of his transitions in life. He was young enough that he wasn't still hideously clingy to me, although he was clingy to me, but not too much so that he wasn't prepared to consider other options. And yet he was old enough that he was sort of able to sort of go in with the others and be a relatively happy little camper.
Julio now lives with 2 males and 3 females, including his own birth mother.
Susie and Lena love playing with him, and even his mom has taken a wee bit of interest in him, not too much. Good boy. Okay, little man.
Now, Julio will spend the rest of his life living with the other woolly monkeys. And one day, he might even father a baby himself.
Are you hiding, Julio? Good boy. We'll see you later, little man.